I've tried hundreds of AI tools, and here are the best ones that allowed me to build my B2B AI agency to 10K per month in just 6 months after quitting my job as a software engineer. So, first tool I'm using is Fast API. It's essentially the tool that serves as a middle layer in your applications, in your AI automations that you build, which is usually connecting the front end, so the interface that the user sees, and the logic of the entire automation, so the AI layer when you're building AI apps. It's really good. It simply works, and after experimenting with many of them, I've started with Flask, but this is actually way better as it just simply works. It's extremely fast, and it's crucial for these apps that you build. The secret sauce is in how fast can you build them while still making them reliable and secure for your users. So for almost all of our apps, we use this one. Okay, let's move to Pydantic, because it's just actually a tool for model validation. And what I mean by that is essentially it's really important that when you're working with AI, which is non-deterministic, you want to make the outputs as structured as possible. So it's crucial you actually use the tools that help you do exactly that. And by using Pydantic, you specify what types of outputs do we want from the AI, so it can be seamlessly integrated between the tools like Zapier and A10 and clients' CRMs. So this keeps our data structured. It's a tool that we use for every project because it's extremely important to ensure the data of our clients it's secure and according to all the specifications that we outlined for the customer for our apps. And right now, this moves us to Pydantic Logfire. So as you can see, we worked smoothly through Fast API, Pydantic, and Pydantic Logfire. This creates a well-established ecosystem, and Pydantic Logfire is for observability. So it's basically for logging and visualizing all these calls that you make. Every API call that you make to your AI needs to be logged and monitored. You can actually see their performance. You can measure it. It's really crucial that you monitor every operation that you do, every AI operation at least that you do in your apps, because then you can optimize it for clients, see what works, what doesn't. When you're building these apps, there will always be something that comes up and your clients needs fixing on, or you can just deliver better results for them. And without any data, we can't really iterate on anything. So these three apps, Fast API with Pydantic Logfire, it's a really basic low-level ecosystem that allows you to build all the AI apps you really want. So trust me, just learn these three. Next one is Instructor. So we're not using it for every app, but let me explain to you why. It's only because a lot of these providers of AI, so let's say OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, they already use this library under the hood. So if you want to learn more on how this agents framework actually work under the hood and structure the outputs so you can chat with them, whether it's an A10 or any other agent framework, it usually uses Instructor under the hood, which essentially is the most popular Python library for extracting structured data from large language models. Simply put, we want the model to output certain data. Like think of a letter. When you're addressing a letter, you want to have address in one line, postcode in another. So this is what it does. It basically lets you extract these key details into certain fields so you can basically iterate on this data. This is where Jinja comes into play. And this allows you to take your prompts and dynamically inject the variables in there. So then you can, for example, execute specific task for some user. You can, for example, give, say, for AI, hey, AI, for this user name, do this operation, and the username will be the variable which will be replaced for all your customers, for example. So you can say send personalized emails, etc., etc. Now we're moving to the AI providers, to the LLM providers. And while you can use APIs of OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, which I really recommend you do and you try, with these APIs, but OpenRouter is a great API that simplifies a lot, because what it does is basically you just have to input some message and then the same message gets sent to all models, and you can basically switch the models with your code, with using n8n in code easily. So you can experiment with these models, because for some tasks, some models may perform better, and for the other tasks, other models may perform better. So you can easily compare and use basically any model you want. If you go here, you have so many models here, and it's always your role to choose the best model for the problem you're trying to solve, for the app that you are building. Then we're moving to Supabase. Supabase is a hosted service for databases, because you need someplace to store your data. Secure, persistent storage that can be well protected against any attacks, etc. So this is where Supabase comes into play. And while there are multiple different providers, it is based on Postgres database, so it's like simple SQL database if you've been using it, and essentially a hosted service which you can connect using their API. So it's super extremely simple and flexible. It has also a lot of functions on top of it, so you can even set up some automations here, authentications for your app, and a lot of stuff. So it's really useful, and it's simple to set up. And I'm focusing my apps on the simplicity and the ability to develop these apps fast. Because when you're building these automations, these small apps, or even bigger ones, it's really important you can deliver the results as fast to the clients as possible, give him the dopamine, the happiness of the working solution. So I really like Supabase, and trust me, a lot of big applications use it. So if you're just starting out, you can use it too safely. It's also super friendly, with super friendly interface, so it's simple to use for less technical people or non-technical people at all. Then we're moving to Llama Index, and while I am not a big fan of frameworks, I am a fan of this framework because this is a great tool for RAG applications. And if you don't know what a RAG is, it's basically an app where you can chat with your documents. And for that, it involves entire complex project, which I'm not gonna explain this video, but this tool makes it way easier, trust me, to get this data. For example, let's say you have a use case where you want to, when you have a finance client and you need to basically get the documents from all the client's data, and you want to structure it, you want to process it so client can chat with his data. This is actually a lot of projects that we build this way. There's a lot of tricks where you basically want to make sure that this data is well structured. So yeah, this tool is really important. So you get the structured data, and whenever you want to build a tool where you need to chat with a document, this is the place to go. All right, next is Rapid API, which is again a tool where connects multiple APIs. And as you can see, it's 82,000 plus APIs. So to be honest, I think it never disappointed me. Like all the use cases I had, all the weird use cases I had to get somewhere to data from, I use this tool, and you can treat it as a gate to the data of the internet. So whenever you need something, get something from school communities, from newsletters, from so many stuff, there are people who are actually building these APIs for you, and you can just leverage the power of it. It has super generous free tier. It's like you can use most of it for free. So it's actually crazy. And yeah, often better than building your own scrapers, trust me. Next is Apify, and it's super similar to Rapid API. The use case is essentially the same. It's sometimes easier to use because they provide their endpoints, so to say. So you can basically, these are the actors that you can use. So for example, if you want to get some TikToks into your app or some data from Google Maps or from Instagram, you basically can just use it directly here on their website, and you just say, hey, I want these TikToks, and they grab. And this tool helps you grab it. Obviously, there's some setup here, or you can use it in code or in an A10 or in any other tool. But again, the same gateway to the data of the internet. Really, really good service. As I talked, when you need to store structured data, you go to Supabase. But when you want to store vectorized data, and vectorized data is the data that you will be using for your RAG applications, again, beyond the scope of this video, you go to Quadrant. It's really reliable, good performance, never disappointed me. There are a lot of different providers like Pinecone, for example, etc., etc. But to be honest, I stick with it with every project. And again, like, you don't want to mess with so many tools. You just want to find out what works and repeat it. If it doesn't work, cool, then you need to find some other solution to the problem. But if it works, just stick with one. Trust me. Google AI Studio is like you're using Gemini, but more technical wise. So you have a lot of parameters that you can set, experiment, and I'm sure it's less censored. So when Nano Banana came out, as if you've been experimenting with it, it's super censored, and here it's way less. So if you have some sketchy use cases, so to say, you can try doing it here. It's not always gonna work, but with good prompting, you can get around it. And often it censors even like your normal requests, normal apps for clients. For example, we had this photoshoot apps, and it couldn't. Basically, it refused to change the face all the time because, you know, like face protection, etc. was like entirely illegal, and all the data based on client. But again, we had to use this service to experiment with it. So yeah, feel free to play with it. It's from Google. Then we've got N8N, which is really powerful backend service for connecting the workflows. So sometimes you want to do things with code, but if you're slightly less technical and you just don't want to mess with code, you can do so much stuff with it. It's just a matter of complexity and how long will it take you to build it. But you can really build anything with it you need. So this is like the backends of our applications. So the logic that will operate for the AI, this is where N8N comes into place. It's really good, reliable service. We also have like Zapier and Make and Pipedream, for example, but I like it most, especially because of their AI integrations, and we are all here AI nerds, right? So then we move to Lovable. This is AI coding tool, which is really good, and it helps you build web apps. So for non-technical people, or even technical, like I use it for MVPs, you just prompt like, hey, build me a web app, web dashboard for my financials, and you can just build micro apps like this. We often use this tool to show MVPs for clients or build even entire MVPs. For production ready full apps, we prefer to use this app that I'm about to show you. And this basically works the same way. You just prompt it here. The only thing is that you can download it to the computer that you're using, and it basically lets you more chat with your code base and understand the code you're making. Because here will be a lot of done for you, and the cost of the tool that does a lot of for you, you don't understand what's actually happening under the hood. So when you face some obstacle, then you have no idea how to fix it, and you can get easily blocked, and then you spend days fixing it. So for bigger applications, I prefer using Cursor and going step by step with my documentation, with the rules that I outlined for it. Again, I don't write any code manually. I'm too lazy for that. I just prompt it, and it creates the app for me. me. So yeah, some of my even non-technical friends, I teach them how to use this tool, and they are building some micro apps for them, which is really interesting to see, honestly, coming from a software engineering background. So now the barrier is really low, which is funny, exciting at the same time, maybe a little bit scary for some of you. But that guides me to the next tool, which is Railway. And Railway is a really good tool for deploying your applications. Deployment and the entire infrastructure is really crucial for your apps, and often you might want to use some behemoths like AWS, Google, Azure, etc. But this tool is super simple. Not many people know about it, but it's super simple tool. And it's again about the speed, because here, if you use GitHub, you can just connect your GitHub repo here, and the app is on the web. Your clients can interact with it, and you can monitor it, evolve, scale, network, deploy. Like, you can do everything from just one click from GitHub, and the app is Dockerized, so it's packed into like a package, and you basically can use it. Everything you need for apps, for small APIs, this is for hosting your backend. I don't host frontend on it, just the backend, so the APIs you build, so the middle and backend layer. Really good service that can get you up fast. And this is important. And last part is, I even have some data in here. ExeliDraw is a tool that you can use to map out these processes and write stuff here. When you're building these tools, I personally like to go here and start on a big, huge blank page to draw everything. Some people use even a blank sheet of paper and a pen, but if you're working with a team or with anyone else, or you want, sometimes maybe you want to send it over to your client, it's the tool to go, as it's extremely simple, and you can do everything here. And again, speed, easily shareable, and free to use. So this wraps up all the tools. There is a lot of them, as you just seen, but obviously you don't want to start with every tool. It came to me naturally by facing problems. I found the tools to solve these problems, but it wraps up the technical stack, the tools that you want to learn or at least know of that exist for solving your next problems, where you will be building these B2B apps for your clients. So this wraps up today.